Hello everyone, welcome to Lenten Lunch. My name is Dave Sweet and I've been a member at the River Franklin Park for the past 6 years. Pastor Mark has asked that I share some reflections from the Gospel of John, starting at chapter 11, verses 17 through 44. This passage details Jesus comforting the sisters of Lazarus upon his death and then ultimately raising Lazarus back from the dead. So let's begin. On his arrival, Jesus found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Now Bethany was less than 2 miles from Jerusalem, and many Jews had come to Martha and Mary to comfort them in the loss of their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. "Lord," Martha said to Jesus, "if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now, God will give you whatever you ask." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha answered, "I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day." Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this?" "Yes, Lord," she replied. "I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who is to come into this world." As I read these verses, the first thing that stands out to me is Martha's expression of disappointment in the fact that Jesus was not there to save her brother. I was taken aback at first as I read through this, as I thought, who is Martha to complain about Jesus? But I quickly remembered that I too complained to Jesus about things going on in my life. Whether it's the death of a relative, a situation going on at work, or something that is frustrating me, many times I share these things with, and sometimes at Jesus. But as we see with Martha, these burdens are actually lessened when there is a strong faith in Jesus. Although Martha is saddened by her brother's death, I believe her faith comforts her through these moments. Martha knows and believes in who Jesus is and what he can do for all of those who believe in him. As we continue with this passage, we next see Jesus comforting Mary, the other sister of Lazarus. After she had said this, she went back and called her sister Mary aside. "The teacher is here," she said, "and is asking for you." When Mary heard this, she quickly got up and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet entered the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. When the Jews who had been with Mary in the house comforting her noticed how quickly she got up and went out, they followed her, supposing she was going to the tomb to mourn there. When Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. "Where have you laid him?" he asked. "Come and see, Lord," they replied. Jesus wept. Then the Jews said, "See how he loved him?" But some of them said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" As we see in these passages, Mary too expresses her disappointment in Jesus as he was not there to save her brother. Even some of the Jews that had followed Mary to meet Jesus question, how could he work other miracles, but yet he couldn't keep his friend from dying? I would imagine that the sight of seeing Jesus weeping must have also hit them too, as they note Jesus clearly loved Lazarus. But I wonder if Jesus weeping also signified the finality of the moment, that Lazarus had indeed died, and that there was nothing left to do other than to mourn. But as we read on, we see that Jesus is truly the Son of God, and that his actions deepen the faith of those around him. Jesus, once more deeply moved, came to the tomb. It was a cave with a stone laid across the entrance. "Take away the stone," he said. "But Lord," said Martha, the sister of the dead man, "by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been there for 4 days." Then Jesus said, Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. Then Jesus looked up and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, Jesus called in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The dead man came out, his hands and feet wrapped with strips of linen and cloth around his face. Jesus said to them, "Take off the grave clothes and let him go." Can you imagine seeing someone brought back to life after being dead for 4 days? I'm sure that Martha and Mary and the Jews that had gathered there were in complete shock to see Lazarus walking out of the tomb. I'm sure they were excited and frightened at the same time. Could this actually be happening? But as Jesus reminds them, if you believe, you will see the glory of God. I believe that is Jesus' message to all of us as well. If we truly believe in him, then we will find life. Not only can Jesus breathe life back into Lazarus, but he will do the same for all of us who believe in him. My prayer for this Easter season is that our faith in Jesus breathes new life into each one of us, and that we are transformed by his power and his never-ending love.